The Faxination Management Portal was introduced in Faxination 2013. It provides a browser-based interface to most of the day-to-day administrative functions of the Faxination server. The default URL is http, the name of the fax server, port 18371/faxconfig, and the default credentials are admin. The interface includes administrator account management. The administrators can be authenticated by Faxination with credentials encrypted in the local registry, or access can be controlled by associating an administrative role with an Active Directory security group. The Services window allows you to view the real-time status of the Faxination services and stop, start, and restart those services. The Cover Sheets window allows you to manage the Faxination cover sheets, including a fully featured, browser-based cover sheet editor. The Extended Custom Routing window is used to manage the ECR routing rules that are stored in the Fin Messaging SQL database. Recall that ECR is a deprecated feature that is included for use by legacy customers that relied upon Exchange public folder-based ECR rules in previous versions of Faxination. ECR offers no real benefits over the standard routing methods and should not be used by new customers. The Log window provides a browser interface to the Faxination log data stored in the SQL Fin Messaging database. It replaces the Fenestre reporting tool utility found in earlier versions of Faxination. The Outbound Service Management window allows you to modify Faxination device services based on criteria such as peak time of day and too many retries. For example, during the hours of your peak outbound fax traffic, you can allow a remote fax device to process outbound messages, even when that device is not the one best suited for the job based on least cost routing. Also, due to some interoperability issues that exist with fax over IP and certain fax machines or MFP fax modems, it's possible to automatically change the outbound service to use a hardware fax device based on the type of fax over IP call failure. For example, if an outbound fax over IP call fails twice for reasons other than busy or no answer, the job can be reassigned to another outbound service that doesn't use fax over IP. The Outbound Service Routing window allows you to assign outbound jobs to specific outbound services. This is typically used to provide least cost routing based on the destination fax number and the fax device that is best suited to handle that message. In our message flow example from earlier in the training, we saw that outbound faxes from Atlanta that had a +31 prefix would be passed to a Faxination remote device in the Netherlands for delivery. The Queue window provides a real-time view of the Faxination queue and replicates the functionality of the delegated queue manager found in earlier versions of Faxination. You can filter jobs based on message type and direction, and you may pause, continue, or delete jobs. Other operations, such as rescheduling a job or changing the destination address, are still only possible from the Fenestre Queue Manager and are not currently available through the browser interface. The Users window allows for day-to-day Faxination user administration and replicates most of the functionality of the Faxination Address Manager. It does not include data source options such as the root folder enumeration and folder filtering, which are typically only accessed once during the post-installation phase. In the Faxination Server window, we find options related to inbound PDF messages. The Xmp Metadata option inserts transmission metadata, normally seen in the message body of an inbound fax email, into inbound PDF files as Xmp data. Xmp stands for Extensible Metadata Platform and is an ISO standard for storing extra information about a document that is not part of the document itself. This extra information can then be indexed by a document management system. The PDF Date-Time Stamp feature adds a date-time overlay to the incoming PDF files. You have control over the date and time formats, the format of the GMT offset, page position of the overlay, and the font and font options to use. The ATNA Logging tab writes transaction log information to a local or remote ATNA service. ATNA is an acronym for Audit Trail and Node Authentication, and is a variant of syslog that is unique to the healthcare industry. Due to privacy concerns in healthcare, ATNA defines specific security requirements, including authentication certificates and TLS encryption. The Connectors window displays a list of all currently installed Faxination host connectors and allows for the configuration of host-to-host routing. This is an alternative interface to the host connector configurators that we've already covered in this training. The Monitoring window allows you to configure Faxination server health monitoring and trigger alerts based on the number of queued jobs, the age of the oldest queued job, or the timeout of a test message generated by the health monitor. When triggered, an alert can be sent to one or more email addresses via SMTP and/or logged to the Fin Monitoring table of the Fin Messaging SQL database. When the alerts are written to SQL, SQL monitoring tools can be used to generate additional administrative alerts. The number substitution window allows you to configure the number substitution rules for local and remote devices, as well as block specific outbound numbers for security or legal reasons. We discussed number substitution in Part 3 of this training as part of the Faxination outbound message flow. And finally, the Service Request window gives you information for how to contact Fenestre support via email or phone. Note that an active support contract is required to open a ticket with our Global Service Center. Support contracts may be purchased through your Fenestre sales representative or Fenestre reseller. Thank you for watching our Faxination 2016 video training series. We hope that it held your attention and that you found it to be both informative and useful for the installation and administration of the Faxination product. We welcome any comments or suggestions that you have regarding this training, and you can send those to info@fenestre.com.